Yo, what's good, Destination Devi fam? How y'all living? Welcome back to the station, to the channel, Destination Devi. I'm here to help you Devi and Dynasty better, and I appreciate you rocking with me. I appreciate the love, the comments, the interaction, the engagement. It's all love. It's all good all the time. For those of you joining for the first time, welcome. I hope you stay. Smash that subscribe button, like it. Put the alerts on so every time we drop something new, whether that's prospect film, mock drafts, all that good stuff, you'll be notified right away and get the freshest and latest, most entertaining and actionable Dynasty content on the planet. I don't really know what to say, but it's madness that is happening right now. It is startup season. It's rookie draft season. It's all kinds of all hell breaking loose season. And there are some pretty egregious things going on right now. I love rookies. I love college. I have been telling people to buy 2020 picks for 2 years now. And I'm telling you right now, you need to start looking at acquiring 2021 picks as well, because that group of wide receivers, the tight ends, the top end talent at the running back position and the quarterbacks, it's looking like it's going to be even better than 2020. I'm just going to say it right now. It's looking like it's going to be even better than 2020. But there are five second-year wide receivers who I believe are being criminally undervalued right now in startup drafts. And a big part of that is because of the hype and hysteria around these 2020 rookies. Now, do I think that some of these rookies have immense upside and the potential for them to be top 12, top 20 players at their position in the future? Is there? Absolutely. But I also think these five wide receivers that I'm going to talk about today have potential to be consistent top 24 wide receivers in fantasy. And if not consistent top 24 wide receivers, then definitely within the top 36. And some of these guys are playing on fantastic offenses. They did not get hit with any kind of rookie draft capital in this past draft. And I just think that you, as savvy Dynasty owners, can be taking advantage of the value that these veterans, these second-year players possess. Now, I think that personally there's a big six at the wide receiver position, okay? I think there's a big six, and if you can land one of these six wide receivers, then you take them. You take them, you don't question it, you don't hesitate. You grab these six players, and you're happy with them. And those six, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Reagor, CeeDee Lamb, Denzel Mims, T. Higgins, and Justin Jefferson. That's sort of my big six. If you're walking away with one of those six guys, then that is fine. That you don't think twice. But after that, there are players that I like, right? There are some players that I wouldn't mind having on my roster. There's some players that I think possess some upside when you're talking about a Michael Pittman, when you're talking about Laviska Shenault in his upside, Brian Edwards with the Raiders. But these five second-year players, I would take all five of these guys over any of the wide receivers after the big six. And those five guys that I think are being, and it's not even what I think. I'm going to be using the ADP data provided by DLF. Ryan McDowell does a fantastic job of Superflex mock drafts, Dynasty startups, rookie drafts. So all the ADP data is already there. If you're not subscribed to the DLF premium content, you're really missing out, because that is where you're going to be able to find that value and extract that value in your rookie draft. So the five second-year players that I think that are being undervalued, and the ADP data is telling us that they're being undervalued, is Deante Johnson, second-year wide receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers; Darius Slayton, the wide receiver from the New York Giants; Nikhil Harry, wide receiver of the New England Patriots; McCoy Hartman, wide out, Kansas City Chiefs; and Preston Williams, wide receiver out of Miami. It's not just me saying that, right? We've got the data to back it, and these guys showed, at least four of the five, showed some level of serious potential and promise during the 2019 season. So when you're talking about Deante Johnson, right? 92 targets, 59 receptions, 680 yards, and 5 TDs, and that's without Ben Roethlisberger. That's with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph throwing the ball haphazardly all the way around. Now, I am not going to comp him. I'm not saying that Deante Johnson is this player. I'm just saying that his skill set and versatility and the way that he won last year and the promise that he showed last year really reminded me of a young version of Antonio Brown when he was breaking in with the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you told me who was the best looking wide receiver on Pittsburgh last year, it wouldn't have been Juju Smith-Schuster. It was Deante Johnson. His target separation, the way that he can create space against those defensive backs, what he does after the catch, the speed, the fluidity in which he plays. Deante Johnson is somebody that I am buying in Dynasty, and you should as well. With Ben Roethlisberger coming back, we can only anticipate and assume that the pass volume is going to go up for the Steelers, and Johnson is going to be a big part of that offense. Now, when we're looking at the data, who are these players going ahead of some of these second year? Let's crank it up. Let's take a look right here, okay? So, all right, there's Rager and Jefferson. We talked about those guys. This is DLF, May 2020 wide receiver startup Dynasty ADP. And we get down to Mr. Deante Johnson. So here are the guys that I talked about. McCoy Hartman here, 46th wide receiver off the board, ADP of 88 overall. Then it's Deante Johnson and Darius Slayton in order, right? Right after that, I said Preston Williams. There he goes right here. And a little bit down below, right? Where's our boy Nikhil? Where the hell is he at? Maybe he's up higher. Where's Nikhil Harry? Here he is, Nikhil Harry. So he's above all those guys. So Harry is the highest ranked second-year wideout, followed by McCoy Hartman, Deante Johnson, Darius Slayton, and Preston Williams. And we're looking at the wide receivers that are going ahead of those guys, right? I talked about it. Denzel Mims. In a vacuum, would I rather Denzel Mims or Deante Johnson, Slayton, Harry? I would probably take the second-year guys over Mims, but I do have him as one of my big six wideouts as the number one wide receiver, probably sooner rather than later for Sam Darnold. I know we don't love the Jets situation. We don't really particularly care for Adam Gase, but I think that he's going to have an opportunity to grow with Sam Darnold, so I'm okay with that. But here are some of the rookies going ahead of these second-year players, but I don't see it. I don't see Brandon Ayuk, Laviska Shenault, Michael Pittman. You know, we talked about Denzel Mims. Then you've got T. Higgins, Henry Ruggs, man. Henry Ruggs. You know, Justin Jefferson and Rager, even over Terry McLaurin, I think that's a little bit aggressive, but that is what Dynasty Leaguers are telling us. And when we look at some of these second-year guys, and Darius Slayton, in 14 games, he started 9 of them, right? He had 84 targets, 48 receptions, 740 yards, and 8 TDs. Now, the TD variance, right? We can expect some regression in the touchdown department from Darius Slayton. But what the Giants didn't do is they didn't go out there and invest any draft capital in a wide receiver. He's a starter, and he showed fantastic rapport with Daniel Jones last year. He's only going to be better in his second year with Daniel Jones. You know, Sterling Shepard's got his role. Golden Tate has his role. He's got Saquon Barkley in the backfield. The Giants invested early draft capital in Andrew Thomas, the lineman, to help shore up that offensive line. Evan Ingram's going to handle his role in the slot when he's on the field. Darius Slayton, you're telling me that you want Michael Pittman over Darius Slayton or Deante Johnson? No, that's crazy. That is crazy talk. That is rookie hype. Nikhil Harry, I know his production stats were not there last year, right? He only played in 7 games. He had 12 receptions, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a couple of plays that were called back. They used him in the run game just a little bit. But let's talk about key additions for the New England Patriots. Nobody. Key losses, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. You know, he's going to be competing with Julian Edelman, who is 3,100 years old, Mohamed Sanu, and Nikhil Harry. Nikhil Harry was a first-round pick last year. In Dynasty startup drafts, let's be conservative and just say that he was a top 5 consensus overall pick. Probably even in Superflex formats, he was still going in the top 5. And right now, he's being drafted after some of those rookies that we talked about. We're really going to take Laviska Shenault and Brandon Ayuk over Nikhil Harry? No, don't fall for the rookie hype, especially when you get into this tier of players, right? You don't want to make that mistake. Now, who else do we have? McCoy Hartman. McCoy Hartman is the only one of these 5 where I'm kind of like, if you want to take the upside of a Bryan Edwards long-term, or you want to risk it with a Henry Ruggs, okay. But playing with Patrick Mahomes alongside Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, that's your 1 and 2. They've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so you know he's going to be involved in the receiving game. But as a wide receiver, I just don't, do we really have faith in Sammy Watkins? I think McCoy Hartman is before the end of the 2020 season, he's the number 2 wide receiver on that team. And he possesses that game-breaking ability. We already saw it, Only 41 targets last year, 538 yards, 6 TDs, long of 83. He's a game-breaking type talent. And Tyreek Hill, as fantastic as he is, he does have an ability. He does have not even an ability. There's a little bit of, he gets banged up from time to time, right? He dealt with some injuries last year. McCoy Hartman, he was drafted in the 2nd round to fit that mold when we didn't think Tyreek Hill, or there was a potential for Tyreek not to be available for the Chiefs. So of the 4 players, maybe you could make an argument that, no, I'd want some of those rookies before McCoy Hartman. But me personally, give me the guy that's playing in that offense with Patrick Mahomes on a discount. I'm taking McCoy Hartman over Laviska Shenault, and I'm not even thinking twice about it. I mean, I'm taking McCoy Hartman over Henry Ruggs, and I'm not thinking twice about it. Another one of those guys where you can go out and acquire probably for the low and try to get a piece of that Kansas City offense. The final guy that I really want to talk about that I think is being criminally undervalued, and they too did not invest heavy draft capital or any draft capital that really matters in a wide receiver, is Preston Williams. Preston Williams, going after all of those guys I talked about, plus Bryan Edwards, is a player that I want. I need me some Preston Williams. You should want you some Preston Williams. Here he is right here. Preston Williams going after Bryan Edwards. He's going after Denzel Mims, Michael Pittman, Henry Ruggs. We talked about that. As the 53rd best wide receiver off the board, almost going in the triple digits in startup drafts. His only competition at the wide receiver position is Devontae Parker, and a lot of people aren't sold on the 5th-year breakout that was Devontae Parker. I think Devontae Parker's good. I think in that offense, whether it's Tua or it's Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing the ball, they're going to sling it around. They're going to throw the ball down the field, and I want that young wide receiver, 23-year-old Preston Williams, to grow with Tua. He's got the requisite size. He has the skill set, and he showed that when he was on the field in 8 games, 60 targets in 8 games, 32 receptions, 428 yards, 3 touchdowns, right? 3 touchdowns, and that's with a rookie undrafted free agent wide receiver coming in and picking it up. New system in Miami for him. Quarterback play, we didn't know who it was going to be, but Preston Williams produced prior to tearing his ACL. So my advice to you, and the strategy that I would employ, is if you miss out on one of those big 6 wide receivers, if you miss out on one of them, the chances are you missed out on the 5 running backs, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift. You've missed out on those guys. You've missed out on the 6 wide receivers. You didn't get a Burrow, or you took Burrow early. Trade that second. If you can trade a 2nd-round rookie pick for any one of these 5 wide receivers, I think that's a home run play. It's not the sexy play. Of course, majority of us want to draft these rookies in rookie drafts. We want to. But if you're telling me you have the choice between one of these wide receivers that we talked about, or even take it to the running back position, Antonio Gibson, Darrington Evans, A.J. Dillon, Zach Moss, you take these guys who have proven to some degree, to some level, that they can play in the NFL. And when you're talking about target competition, Deante Johnson is locked in as a starter. Slayton, locked in. Nikhil Harry, locked in. Preston Williams, locked in. McCoy Hartman, for all intents and purposes, is locked in. At worst case scenario, the number 3 wide receiver on an absolutely juggernaut type offense. Give me those players. Even Nikhil Harry, who did not produce at some high level, is a rookie. He was injured for half the damn year. So he was playing on the practice squad with Jared Stidham, who's coming in. He's going to rely on 6'4", 225-pound Nikhil Harry. If it's going to happen for that player, it's going to happen in year 2. And I do not believe, based on ADP, based off of what they did in the NFL, and based off of what we hope these, 2nd-tier, 3rd-tier wide receivers can produce in the NFL, that a 2nd-round pick for any one of these players is a loss. You should not feel bad about that in any way. And this is how you win in Dynasty. You win by making savvy moves like this. Screw making the picks. I know you want to make the picks. Go out, trade for one of these 5 second-year players who are being undervalued because of rookie hype. That is how you Devy. That is how you Dynasty. You don't really Devy. We're not really talking about Devy, but I mean, I'm sure the same principle would apply. But that is how you Dynasty better. That is how you win your Dynasty leagues. That is how you extract value amongst the rookie hype. There it is. There it is. Quick, to the point, not belabored, not drawn out. Go out, acquire Slayton, Hartman, Harry, Williams, and Johnson. Hey, that's it. Subscribe to the channel. More tips, more quick hits, more prospect breakdowns, all that fun stuff. Podcast coming. If you haven't subscribed to that, check out Destination Devy Podcast. But I'm rambling, man. Love y'all. Check y'all out next time. Peace.